All right, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. So, I wanted to talk about early MVP favorites throughout the league from every single team, and I was writing it out, and then I lost everything I worked for. Yep, I was writing it all out, and here you go. It was right here, multiple teams, and yeah, that's what happens when you want to use AI to clean it up, and you accidentally change the page. It doesn't save exactly where you were. So let's talk about the MVP favorites, and starting with the Buffalo Bills. I went with Josh Allen. I mean, there's not much to like about this team. You got a um, bottom tier offense, not really doing much. The defense isn't much better. As you can see in the late teens and mid 20s. So it was hard to not go with anybody but Josh Allen, because Josh Allen's still having a solid season with 2,111 yards, 18 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Not a bad season. He also has 32 rushing yards for 2 touchdowns. So that was my pick. Sincere Brown is a Rookie of the Year candidate with 41 receptions, 822 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So he's been really good. You could also go with Terrell Bernard, who has 4 interceptions. You have 3 interceptions from Christian Benford, who has a touchdown with that as well, so a pick six. So you got a few options, but I think Josh Allen is the safe choice there. Going to the Dolphins, and my pick for the Dolphins was on the defensive side. Having one of the best rush defenses, and I think a lot has to do with Minka Fitzpatrick's ability to come up and play the run. Also, his ability to make people shy away from throwing the ball. He has 20 tackles, which is second on the team, 1 interception, 1 fumble. So he's been really, really good so far this season. So he was my pick for the Dolphins. For the Jets, another team that it was hard to pick for. But we went with Breece Hall, who has 703 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. He also has 398 yards receiving, no touchdowns, but over 1,000 yards from scrimmage already, over 1,100 yards from scrimmage already with 7 touchdowns. And, the rushing offense is top 10 in the league. Jalen Milroe adds to that a little bit, but with that interception number, we can't really, go with him as the MVP for this team. Now, going to my team, the Patriots, we do have a good defense, top 3 in points, top 15 in total. Passing's at 18, rushing's at 8. And I actually went with Christian Gonzalez, who has 4 interceptions on the season. Shutting down one side of the field. The other guys got to do their own part, but his ability to shut down one side of the field has led him to being the MVP choice. Nobody else is having a really good season. Drake May is, having a mediocre season. So going with Christian Gonzalez there. The Bengals, I went with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is 3-2 in games that he's played. He's been suspended for a few, in those for a couple, and in those 2 games, the Bengals are 0-2. So that kind of speaks to his value to the team. 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, really good. He's also added a rushing touchdown. So the fact that they can't win without him, and they could only win with him, that kind of speaks to how good he's really been. Caleb Downs really good too. 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, looking like a defensive Rookie of the Year. Moving on, you have the Browns, and I looked at Shedeur, I looked at Will Levis. Will Levis having a good season, 16 touchdowns, 8 interceptions with 1,916 yards. Shedeur not having a great season at all, as you can see there. But I went with the rookie Zachariah Branch, who has really opened up this offense with 35 receptions, 748 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's been everything they've needed on that offensive side. Nobody on the defense really stood out. Mason Graham having a pretty good season with 5 sacks so far. But that defense is not a top-ranked defense. So I kind of went with the passing side, and because they have a #1 passing offense, and I think Zachariah Branch is, a very good choice there in his, ability to really make this offense have multi-dimensions to deal with. The Ravens, easy choice for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, the best quarterback in the league, 1,992 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Great. And then he's added 47 attempts, 413 yards rushing, and 4 touchdowns. So while only turning the ball over 11 times with the amount of, volume that he sees, I think that's really, really good. Adonai Mitchell's having a good season with 9 touchdowns and 649 receiving yards. So you got a few options, but I think the safe choice, Kyle Hamilton, I just wanted to point him out too. I mean, 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and a half a sack. You got 2 defensive touchdowns from Cam Taylor-Britt, who's a free agent signing. But I think the easy choice is, Lamar Jackson, who has led this team to a 4-3 record and, reigning MVP from last season. So I think that's an easy choice. Moving on to the Steelers, AFC North. We actually went with, who did I go with the Steelers? Jalen Ramsey. So defensively, not great. I mean, not fantastic. Offensively, not fantastic. Passing is 15th. So I was like, all right, let me see, who's really changing the game. Jalen Ramsey, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, leading the team in tackles. So he's showing, his value. I don't think there was a lot to choose from in the Pittsburgh Steelers case. Jabo Nix has been terrible since coming over from Denver. They were hoping that he would be an MVP, but not looking like it so far. Going to an easy choice, a really easy choice, Xavier Worthy for the Indianapolis Colts. 40 receptions, 1,206 yards, 17 touchdowns. Simple choice, easy, leads the league in, let me show you the leaders real quick. Leads the league in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. And super easy pick. Super easy pick when it came to the Colts. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Before I move on, showing that trade, fantastic trade for the Colts. Because Claiborne has been solid and replaced Jonathan Taylor. And when it comes to the receiving end, Xavier Worthy putting up great numbers. Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, I went with Trevor Lawrence, a very effective, 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 2,303 yards passing. Really, really good. He's also added 100 yards rushing. Using Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas could have been another pick here, but I think the offense goes as Trevor Lawrence does. So going with him. Trayvon Walker having a good season with 5 sacks. Christian Wilkins with 4. You also had 5 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries from Devin Lloyd. So if it wasn't for Trevor Lawrence and that offense being a top 10 offense or a top 5 offense in points, top 10 in total yards, and almost top 10 in passing and rushing, I think it's fantastic choice. ETN also 880 yards, 10 touchdowns. I mean, there's a lot to like about that offense. There's a lot to like about the team in general. Multiple people could have been that MVP vote there. The Houston Texans sitting here at 3-3. It would have been CJ Stroud, who was on pace for a good season, 11 touchdowns, 2 picks with 1,000 yards, but he got injured. So, going away from him, and you go to the defense, who has been a fantastic defense, top 5 in points, top 3 in passing, top 10 in, top 5 in total yards, top 10 in points. And a big reason, Azeez Al-Shaair, who has 1 sack, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 31 tackles, leading the team in tackles, tied for interceptions, leading the team in forced fumbles, and also added the sack, to boot, showing, his ability to make plays all over the field. Tennessee Titans, going with him. So you got, who did I go with here? It wasn't Cam Ward. Cam Ward has been, lackluster. It was Big Chick. That's who it was. Big Chick, 46 receptions, 664 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Has led this team multiple seasons. I believe he even led last season. Let's go look. 95 receptions, 1,500 yards. So starting off this season the same way, showing that he is a focal point of this offense. And that this offense goes as he goes, and he's an easy pick for MVP for the Tennessee Titans, which doesn't have a lot working for him right now, not having a good season. Moving on to Denver Broncos. So the Denver Broncos, I went with Tucker Kraft, easy pick again, another tight end, 55 receptions, 896 yards, 6 touchdowns, fantastic so far this season. Nobody really on defense, talk about. Surtain got traded, so he's gone. But really good so far this season for Tucker Kraft. You know he's going to use his tight end, and it's apparent with the stat line. He's leading the league in receptions, so that tells you how that offense goes. Moving on, the Chargers, we went with Justin Herbert. 2,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Hold on one second. Just had to make sure I wasn't going to get interrupted. So Herbert been really, really good for this team, protecting the ball and letting this team eat. He's been using Quentin Johnson pretty well. Spreads the ball out well, as you can see with the stats. Nobody's crazy in one direction. You look at the defense, you got 4 interceptions from Coulson. He could have been a pick here. You also got Omarion Hampton, who's having a good season with 6 touchdowns, 650 yards. But this team goes as Justin Herbert goes, so that was my pick there. The Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, I went with. So let me make sure my mic's still on. Kansas City Chiefs, I went with Patrick Mahomes. Easy to go with the quarterback. 2,751 yards, leading the league in passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 picks. Really, really good. Jonathan Taylor has been good so far. Definitely, not the best. Not putting up a Xavier Worthy type season. 588 yards, 6 touchdowns there. He has 8 touchdowns, and it looks like 700 and actually no, whoa, I'm way off. Looks like 977 yards from scrimmage, so it hasn't even cracked over 1,000 yards. And Xavier Worthy has done both and led in touchdowns and yards just on receiving. So definitely a big L from that trade. But Patrick Mahomes has done what he can with the rookies. As you can see, 3 rookies leading the league, leading the team, I should say. Evan Stewart, 42 receptions. Eli Stowers, the tight end, 42 receptions, 617 yards, 744 yards there. Barian Brown, 36 for 484, 6 touchdowns. I mean, he's done the most with a receiving room that took a big hit without Xavier Worthy in it, but he's replaced it with the few draft picks that he has there. So good on Patrick Mahomes. The Raiders, I went with Taylon Green. No, I went with Dante Thornton Jr. Taylon Green has been really good. But Dante Thornton Jr., 46 receptions, 999 yards, which is second in the league, and then 11 touchdowns, which is top 3 in the league. Has been fantastic. Megatron Jr., you could see why with this stat line. When you play the Raiders, that's the guy you gotta worry about. And he's been really, really good. So definitely my MVP favorite for the Raiders. Moving on to the Commanders, not much to like about this team. Sitting here at 0-7. I went with Mark Andrews, 42 receptions, 776 yards, 6 touchdowns, coming over in free agency, got a bag, and so far has been worth it. It hasn't led to any wins, but he has put up his stats, 42, like I said, 42, 776, and 6 touchdowns. Moving on, the Cowboys. This was, I put a little thought into this one. I mean, you could go with Joe Milton, 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 2,009 yards. I went with Jaden Blue. I think Jaden Blue is the focal point of this offense. He goes as this offense goes as he goes. 808 yards, 10 touchdowns on 99 attempts. He's also added 22 receptions, 257 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns there. So 12 touchdowns total. Over 1,000 yards. 1,065 to be exact. From scrimmage, really fantastic. Sonny Styles could have been another one. 1 sack, 4 interceptions. The rookie really showing why he was worth that first round pick. Overshown as well, 3 interceptions, a fumble 6. Quentin Williams has a fumble 6 as well. So a few guys having good seasons, but nobody's as effective or as important to a team to the Cowboys as Jaydon Blue, in my opinion. Moving on to the Eagles. The Eagles are sitting here at 4-4, and nobody's as good as Saquon Barkley for this team. Over 1,000 yards rushing, 1,129. He also has 8 touchdowns on the ground, and then he's added 425 yards through the air and 5 touchdowns. So he's already at 13 touchdowns and over 1,500 yards. No, just under 1,500 yards so far this season. I mean, talk about effectiveness. He is 29. Let me open the leaders on another tab. He is 29, but he's leading the league in attempts, in rushing yards, and he's done his thing with the rushing touchdowns. Hanging on to life. 95 speed, 29 years old. I mean, he's everything you want in a back. So he was my pick for the Philadelphia Eagles MVP. Other guys having good seasons. I mean, 4 sacks from Jalen Carter, a couple of interceptions here, nothing too crazy. Devontae Smith being real solid, and Jalen Hurts has been, good as well. Moving on to the Giants. My pick for the Giants was Abdul Carter, who is top 5 in. I think he's top 5 in sacks. Let me go look. So he's not top 5 in sacks. I think he does reach the top 10. It was tough to pick for this team, but I went with Abdul Carter, the former top 3 pick, finally showing how effective he could be with 5.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles on those sacks. Just been really good. Other than that, the rest of the team hasn't. The offense has been stale. Jackson Dart less than 2,000 yards passing, 15 touchdowns, 12 picks, a lot of picks to touchdowns. Malik Neighbors has been good with 627 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns, but I wouldn't say MVP good. I think Abdul Carter's ability to affect that defense has been, closer to the MVP level than anything else. Going with the Bears, I actually went with Caleb Williams. 3 interceptions in 8 games played is ridiculous. He's protected the ball fantastically. He has 4 total in those games, 84 rushing yards and a touchdown, but he also has 2,165 yards passing, 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I mean, this offense goes as he does. You could go with Rome Odunze, 801 yards and 9 touchdowns as well. But I went with Caleb Williams. The other guy I wanted to bring up that is a pretty interesting topic is the rookie Germond McCoy. 1 second. What's gonna make sure no one's gonna jump in on me? It'll be real awkward. Germond McCoy, the rookie out of Tennessee, drafted in the 2nd round. Fantastic so far this season. 4 interceptions, as a rookie, and I think he's been an MVP for that defense, because that defense right now is ranked top 10 in passing and top 10 in points. So, has made a big impact on that defense. Moving on to the Detroit Lions, I went with Jared Goff. It could be it could have been Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's actually kind of taken a little step back, I would say. He averaging 5.5 yards a carry, but, a little step back. Not as effective as he was last season, where he was, tearing down the rushing record early on, or, making a huge impact. Rushing yards, 28th, so not effective. The top 10 passing, and Jared Goff has been the main reason why. 2,345 yards passing, 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's been really, really good. So that was an easy choice there. Going with the Green Bay Packers. And you could go with Jordan Love. Did I pick Jordan Love? No, I did not. So Go with Jordan Love. Fantastic season, 2,066 yards, 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Josh Jacobs, 864 yards, 11 touchdowns. Looking at the receiving, Watson's having a good season. So is Golden. Nobody stands out there. But the guy I went with is the guy making the most impact, I feel like, and that's Micah Parsons. 7.5 sacks, number 2 in the league with 1 forced fumble. I think he's making the most impact for a defense that ranks number 1 in total yards, number 1 in rushing yards, and number 1 in points. So, this defense has been fantastic and has been, really, really good. And a big reason for that is Micah Parsons. Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings. I went with, who did I go with the Vikings? Troy Anderson. I went with Troy Anderson. So the defense has been the one bright spot for this team. The offense hasn't been great, but as you can see, the defense top 10 in total yards, top 5 in rushing. Troy Anderson, a big factor. 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and also took 1 interception for a pick 6. Josh Metellus could have been a pick 2 with 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble. Both have forced 5 turnovers. The big difference is Troy Anderson has taken 1 to the house. So that was my point there. Moving on to, I think that might have been no, that wasn't the last team. I think I was going to the 49ers. Like, the Saints were the last team before I lost everything I wrote, which sucks. So I'm gonna do it, by going live. With the Buccaneers, offense terrible, bottom 2 in every statistical category you could imagine. Defense really good, top 10. Top 3 in total yards, top 3 number 1 in passing, but not very good in rushing. And the reason they're number 1 in passing is Yaya Diaby. I don't know if I pronounced that right, probably not. But leads the league with 8 sacks, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery for a a fumble recovery for a touchdown. No forced fumble. He got the recovery for a touchdown. But just off leading the league in sacks, I think he deserves, being praised as the MVP for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Atlanta Falcons went with Bijan Robinson, who has laid claim as the best back in the NFC, one of the best backs in the NFC South, because the best back in the NFC South is coming up. Bijan Robinson, 123 attempts, 899 yards, 11 touchdowns. He's also added 250 yards, 15 yards receiving, and a touchdown there. Has been very, very effective. Jalen Walker is having a good season too, with 6.5, sacks. I think that puts him top 5. Yeah, puts him at number 4. So, really good season from him. So, but Bijan Robinson leading this team to a top 3 rushing attack. Really, really effective. And as he goes, this team goes. That's how they get their wins. Tough team to pick from the Carolina Panthers. There wasn't one guy that really stood out either offensively or defensively. Nick Scotton has kind of taken a step back from his 18 sack season. He only has 3.5 sacks so far this season. But I went with Bryce Young, the franchise quarterback, 2,420 yards. That puts him number 2, I think, in the league with yards. Puts him number 3. Number 3 in yards. 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He's doing his thing. Not the reigning NFC South champions, but not having the same season, 2-5, sitting at towards the bottom of the division, maybe 3rd place. And Bryce Young still doing his thing. Definitely the MVP with that top 5 passing attack. It all goes through Bryce Young. The New Orleans Saints. I said the best back, and imagine drafting Alvin Kamara and having, memories of that this year with Dylan Edwards. 95 rushes, 855 yards, 12 touchdowns on the ground, 9 yards a carry. Then, on top of that, he's added 29 receptions, 402 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns. All right. So, yeah, I mean, fantastic. 402 yards, four touchdowns, 29 yards, 29 receptions. Um, I mean, going from Alvin Kamara to Dylan Edwards is the same damn thing. Just a playmaker, both the receiving and rushing, and has been fantastic and an easy MVP pick for the Saints and potentially MVP pick for the league. Moving on to the 49ers, which I didn't get to, so I got to look them over a little bit. Really spreading the ball out receiving wise. George Kittle's having a good season. Brock Purdy's not having a great season. So you got to go to the defense. And I saw Nick Bosa was number 2 in sacks, and that's an easy pick right there. Nick Bosa is the MVP for 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 7 sacks on the season, leading that defense, which is pretty damn good. Middle of the pack, but could be a lot worse without Nick Bosa. Moving on to the Arizona Cardinals, their pick. Let's take a look. So really good defense, really good offense. Darian Mensah, who's got 2,378 yards, passing, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, sitting here at an 81 overall. I mean, really, really good. I think that is a good pick. Marvin Harrison would be a good pick with 738 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns. Defensively, how are they so effective? I mean, Donovan McMillan, 4 interceptions. Camryn Richardson has 3 interceptions and a forced fumble. I think Mensah's the best pick here. Darian Mensah has been, as a rookie, has been fantastic. Like I said, 2,378 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and then 23 rushes for 2 touchdowns, on top of that. So Mensah definitely an easy pick and, a rookie of the year candidate if he could beat out Dylan Edwards. Taking a look at the Rams and who is the most effective, you could go with Dante Moore, 2,347 yards, 24 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Receiving wise, Puka Nacua, 38 receiving receptions, 796 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Defensively, nobody really super stands out. Everybody doing their part. I think the best pick here is probably going to be Puka Nacua. The rookie could have been the choice, but what is the rookie without his number 1 receiver who, is really having a fantastic season? 38 receptions, 796 yards, and 10 touchdowns. The numbers are good there. So you could go either way, honestly. Dante Moore, Puka Nacua. Same thing with the Cardinals. You could have went either way. Marvin Harrison Jr. or Mensah. Both, but 7 touchdowns compared to 10, 738 yards. The yards are pretty much the same. But Puka Nacua has really been, killing it with the touchdowns. So moving on, the last but not least, Seattle Seahawks. And the first thing I want to look at is their record with Drew Allar starting. Actually, he's played in every single game, so I can't. So he started this game, he lost. He started this game, he won. So he's 1-2 so far as a starter. So he's not really the MVP. I think we have to go with Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker is the easy pick. 84 attempts, 883 yards, 10 rushing touchdowns. He also has 20 receptions, 172 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. So, I mean, really, really good. Kenneth Walker. I think he's an easy pick for the Seattle Seahawks MVP. And that's it. Let's talk about who might be the league MVP. I guess we could talk about that. I would say, based on record and, success and all that good stuff, I would have to go with Dylan Edwards. Just based on record and, who's been really good. Justin Herbert's not putting up crazy numbers, so, and the Colts are 3-5, so the record plays a big part in that. He would have been another choice, but I think Saquon Barkley, same thing. I think they're 3-4 or something like that, or 4-4. 5-2 Saints, and a big reason is Dylan Edwards, who, is. I'm surprised he's not top 5 in rushing yards. Honestly, I might have to change that. Saquon Barkley has been fantastic. maybe Dante Moore or Mensa. I mean, they're up there. Mensa's got 26 touchdowns. Justin Herbert's up there for touchdowns. It could be Lamar Jackson. I mean, the team's not doing great, but he's been the most dynamic quarterback in the league. But yeah, it's going to be a cool race, but that's